So, hey guys, Chauzu here. Co-Op Duels has been out for a few days now, so I thought I'd make a video just talking about what I personally think about the mode. Both like if I like it or not, but also how I think it impacts One Piece Treasure Cruise as a game. Will it be in a positive sense or a negative sense? But I want to make clear that overall, this is a very happy surprise for me. I said this in a recent video, but like when this was announced, I basically didn't read anything. I had zero interest. I barely played co-op, which is punishing me a bit now since I lack some resources. I probably had far more if I cared about co-op. So that is a bit annoying for me now. Like for example, the co-op captain I'm using right now, the treasure map CP0. I still haven't maxed it, but I'm pretty close. And that does hurt quite a bit for me right now. As I'm challenging in ranks, I'm actually second. And we'll see. I will try and get first place, but people are adapting to the strat I'm using with the 12th Annie batch team. But I did manage to do an impressive like 52 win streak or something. I've lost twice since then though, unfortunately. But we're not going to brag here. I'm going to talk about the mode. So what do I like about the mode? Well, from a team building perspective, there is a lot of team building around. Like there's not a lot of debuffs, but there are monthly rules to follow, and they are pretty relevant. This content also builds around doing damage over several turns, and we also have a co-op captain style to help with that in SPT. To be able to extend everything, which is super good. So there's a lot of team building involved. I know like right now there are just a few teams, but depending on the rules this can change a lot month from month, like what are boosted, what are not boosted, and the buffs are substantial. Like we have stuff like 20 times attack boost. Like if they say shooter and driven 20 times attack boost, nothing else, like that's a whole other metagame we'll have to play. So I hope they do experiment a lot with this so it doesn't end up being the exact same every month. I do want to say though that while it's bad if it's always the same stuff that's good, it's also bad if the best stuff are never good. We're going to talk a bit more about this later since I'm going to compare this with Superboss Kizuna. But like for Superboss Kizuna, for example, I'll just say it now, often like stuff are only good for their debut month and then they're rarely good again. So that's like a huge investment to get a team like that, use it for one event and never again. So I would like it if we have some variety, but at the same time, some consistency. So maybe the same stuff is not good every month, but it comes and goes and different stuff are boosted. So we can try different stuff. So overall, I think they can do a lot with the rules. So I do hope they experiment. And like this month, Egg-Headed Elba for boosted would be nice if they vary that. They will probably do it after the monthly batch, which is fine with me, even if it will probably be a lot of LBAF going forward. So the team building is cool about this, but it's also cool because there's an actual meta game to adapt to, and it's not like the PvP meta where you can decide who you go into for the normal PvP. But here it's random, so you have to like prepare for everything. So building here is basically about probability, like what are common, what colors are common. Like right now, strength or int are common, size debuff. This means that quick is really good. So people try and fit quick as much as possible, like for Co-op Captain. That might change as well in the future, of course. And we can take this team, for example, that I'm using. We have a lot of tech options here. Some stuff here are only really good in certain situations, like if my opponent has done something, or if I face certain teams. Like if we take my team versus the Luffy, Bonnie, Cerebral Scientist team with the Vegapunks. My strat is usually to win the first 2 turns. And if the opponent goes hard to stop me from winning stage 1, then I'll try and win the last 2 turns. So in that case, like the Devon support on Blackbeard is really good, since I can really maximize damage and ensure that I win. And versus the Luffy team, the way it works is that if you win stage 2 with the Anna badge, you basically won. Because if they won stage 1, for example, at least with my strat, then they won't be able to have the threshold piercing damage final stage. So that means they are not a threat anymore. Just an example how you can think. So this is really like designed around the meta. But the cool thing, like I am a part of the meta, at least this month, probably not every month. But it's cool to see the meta evolving around me, since obviously rank 2 I'm a threat. This team is legit. Like I went on a 50 win streak, and I started to face people who try to adapt, and some have figured it out. So now I'm thinking like, do I do some changes or something like that? So it's really cool in that sense. I will say from the negative perspective, of course, which is obvious, is that this is a mode tailored for spenders mainly. Like this is big numbers, it's maxed out units and all of that. I do want to defend myself a bit though, because I've got some flack, whatever you say, for basically I posted about my team and people are like, yeah, but you got Buggy Max, you got Shanks Max, you got Eden Max. Of course it works. But the thing is that, sure, I probably would have probably lost 1-2 more games with less investments. Like what investment, like who knows? Like it's hard to say that in retrospect. But a lot of my wins are from the strats I used. And it's not like it's tight and I barely outdamage. Like most times, it's pretty clear that I outdamaged a lot or I lost a lot. Like it's not really close. So it's a lot about, like, I like to use the expression hedging your bets a lot. And this team designed about that. And it will be fun in the future to build other teams. Where you try and build, so you have a lot of room to maneuver. But in the end, like, if you don't like try and get all of the new units for any, the big important units, like it's going to be a struggle to build a team and challenge for top ranks, but that's the case for a lot of modes. What I will say though, and I guess we're going to move into a bit like for OPTC as a whole. The thing I do like about this mode is that it was really needed for the game. And what I mean about that is that the meta, or like a lot of units that go out, their main purpose is to do damage. That's why we can call some units like a super boss unit. Like you don't use it for anything other than super boss, because it's just big numbers, and big numbers only matter for that one mode. So it made it like a bit whatever, since Super Boss Kizuna, not the best rewards. Honestly, it's super boring as well. Doing the same battle over and over again is a real hassle. I'm really tired of Kizuna in general, and Super Boss in particular. But it was the only mode we have where we can really do big numbers. But now we have this as well, which just improves the like value proposition as well, and it also gives a purpose for these big numbers, because it's just not Super Boss now. Now it's Co-Op Duels as well. Like investing hard in units can get rewarded. And even if you don't do that, you just pull on the big sugos, get some good stuff, like you're still going to be able to get at least 40 stars. And once you get there, like if you do the grind, get lucky, there's a lot of auto teams now that are free wins, like you can definitely get to 50. So I do think it's pretty alright in that sense. While we're talking about Super Boss, one thing I would say is that this mode has improved some of my biggest issues with Super Boss. We talked briefly about one of them earlier, which is with the rules. And we'll see if this is the same case in the future. But for Co-Op Duels, there is very little debuffs. And as a team builder, that should be something I'm not that happy with, since it kind of limits team building in a sense, since removing debuffs is a big part of building a good team in this game. But Super Boss Kizuna has definitely gone way too far in that sense. Super tailored for new batch, and even if you have it, there's some BS that you can't work around that artificially hinders your damage, and it just feels bad. Like if you one time manage to max out a pretty good Super Boss squad, and then you get there and your damage is just hampered and there's nothing you can do about that, it just feels bad, man. And finally, we have a similar issue with this mode this month, since this, like, the Anibash doesn't handle this month's co-op duels perfectly either, but it can definitely do some big numbers, and there are some workarounds. Like one workaround is that the threshold is pretty low, so even if you can't remove it, you can do a lot of damage, and there are quite a few strats to work around the debuffs with the batch team. And this has been fun to use with other teams as well, and there's stuff like this Sora unit having the sailor to remove thresholds, you're going to have to use a special, stuff like that. So that's definitely good, like being able to build more teams. You focus on the key aspect of the mode, which is big numbers, big damage, and don't have to care too much about removing debuffs, which is, I think, is good for a mode like this. Another thing really good, you can only use one action special. I hate grinding Super Boss, and you have to play optimally, get the optimal damage, and you have to do like sometimes up to like 4 action specials every single run. It's so obnoxious. Like for this one, you can use it once, you use it on your captain if he has one, like Emu in this case, and the rest is just perfect. It's so fast. Like playing this game, this mode, thanks to this change, is super enjoyable. Like if this was like Super Boss, games will be so much longer. It will just be a hassle to do these. You start thinking like, well, I'm going to start playing suboptimally, and then the opponent can take their time and be rewarded with big damage. So we get to skip all of that. So I'm super happy that's a legit, super good change. See, I praised this mode quite a bit, like except for like, can be hard for most of the player base. This is aimed at like the upper echelon of people spending and investing their time and money in the game. Some other negatives, well, we talked about quite a lot. Like there's a big difference between going first and second. Like going first is a huge disadvantage. Like in some matchups, if you go first or second, basically decides who wins, since the one going second can always counter what the one going first does. And I've tried to work around that, and I think my current team is pretty good at that. But as I've said, people are starting to adapt to my team, so now they have the tools to deal with it. So now I'm back to sometimes I'm just screwed by going first. The cool thing though, which I'm pretty sure about right now, is that if you go first or second are dependent on rank. So since I'm high rank second, I'm basically always going first now. So that means that my opponent have the advantage of going second, so a disadvantage for me. So if you're lower, like the 40s, 50s, you will often go second and be able to counter, and that is a help in getting to that 50 stars you want to reach to get all of the rewards. But yeah, that's interesting, and the question is, could I have done it in another way? I'm honestly not sure. One thing I've been thinking about in the beginning was like, you can do like a playthrough with your team and show it how you want it to be played. And then when someone faces your team, they will just do what you want it to do every single time. So I think that could have been cool. Well, probably made it mode too easy though, or it would have had a risk at least. So I'm honestly not sure. I think that since it's not random who goes first or second, it might be fine as it is. And it does encourage building flexible teams where you can adapt in different ways. So that's overall the thing I like most about this mode, that you can really have a lot of skill expression. One thing I haven't noticed, and this is not bad or good, is like manual tap timing, for example, huge deal in this game mode. I don't do it a lot now. If I do it, it's with Buggy mainly, since he's very easy to change. And sometimes, like, if it's very early in the tap chain, I can do other manual taps too to swap. But then we have some situations where the optimal tap order just requires so much skill with the fingers. That sounds weird, but that's like how it is. Like, you have to move in a specific way. You have to be prepared for like how the screen transitions, since it will move a bit, and you have to be fast with manual clicking. So yeah, you can do like literally tens of trillions more damage by mastering tap timing, manual tap timing, which is pretty insane. So that's not something I'm going to do. I think I'm okay with that when needed, but being consistent at it and like doing a lot of them in complicated chains, not for me. Another negative with this mode is that there are some bugs. The one I noticed the most, which is infuriating, is when you finish a battle. For me, it's always when I won, and you get to the loading screen, and it just loads. It can't leave the loading screen. I've tried everything, turn off Wi-Fi, like screen lock the iPad for a while. Like, it will never go away. You have to restart the game. Thankfully, you don't get a loss, but you don't get a win either. And it's after the game, which is so infuriating. It literally happens to me like once every 10 games. So yeah, definitely not happy with that. But that's the biggest bug I've seen. There are some things that people think are bugs that are not bugs. One example is, I talked about this a bit with my version of the 12th Ana batch, is that sometimes buffs disappear before you think they do, since like these do 3-turn buffs. You'd think that they get to the final stage of Co-Op Duels. But the thing is, if you take damage from the enemy, that counts as a turn having passed. So this adds a huge element into this, and I'm honestly a big fan of that, since it just opens up new avenues for strats here, and I feel like I made pretty good use of it for this particular team. Have I said everything I want? I think so. Like, I understand that there are people who are very disappointed in this mode, and I do agree that if I could decide, even if I enjoy it now, I will have much preferred regular arenas, regular Grand Voyages, the occasional training forest. I think those are better for the game's health, since those like makes you feel like you want to build a box so you're prepared for stuff to come. We don't really have that feeling anymore. Like in the past, it could be like, yeah, let's farm this, let's get this for the future, it will be good to have. We don't really feel like that a lot, at least not me. So I would have preferred that, but considering what this could have been a complete shit show, let's be honest. So I think they created something solid. They just need to iron out the kinks, make sure there's some variety month to month, and it should be enjoyable for some of us. Probably the people Bandai cares more about, those that I can get them some extra money. But yeah, that's the end of this video. I'm going to get back to farming. Let's see if I can try and get to number 1. Will have been fun. But yeah, thanks for watching, guys. See you next time.